Is your mother still alive?
She died last year.
Okay. Do you know if she had any other children?
Brenda had me, Nicholas, and Zachary.
Okay. Did you live with your mother as a child?
Yes.
Okay. Did you ever live with anyone other than your mother as a child?
Yes.
Who else did you live with?
Numerous people.
Okay. Who were they?
My grandmother. That was my mother. Dorothy. I loved my grandmother very much. And Jody.
Is that Jody Hale?
Jody Hale and her husband, who I called Grandpa.
Okay. Did you ever live in foster care?
Yes, I lived in foster care at the age of 12 and on.
And Dorothy was Brenda's mother. Is that right?
Dorothy was Brenda's mother.
Okay. I want to go back to 1998. Did you live with your mother in 1998?
That's the time of my life where I lived with Brenda. And Nicholas was developing in her polluted womb. And she was consuming grape Cisco wine cooler.
Objection, not responsive.
Sustained.
Okay, I'm going to ask you about that stuff in just a minute. Do you remember when in 1998 you went to live with Brenda?
Yeah, I remember the day she picked me up.
Okay, do you know like about when it was? Was it in the winter, in the fall, in the summer?
It was in the summertime, right before school started. A while, maybe right after school, elementary had ended, and I was going into 6th grade. Yeah.
Okay, so sometime during the summer.
Mhm.
Okay. And what happened when, where were you living before you went to live with her in the summer?
Before I went to live with her, I was living with Jody.
Okay. And when Brenda came to get you to live with her, what happened on the way to that apartment?
She picked me up from Jody's house, and we went to a gas station when we got to Fort Lauderdale. It was right across the street from Women's in Distress Shelter. And she got down and went into the gas station, and I looked around, and I saw glass on the floor of the car because the back seat window was busted. And Brenda came out with a little brown paper bag, and she went to put gas in the car. And as she was pumped the gas, she came around to the front. She lit a cigarette and took a swig. And then she got in the car. I mean, when she was standing out there, that's when I noticed, you know, something in me said, she looks pregnant. She has a baby bump. And she got in the car. And I asked her, are you pregnant? And she looked at me and she said, I got raped. And she took another swig. She turned up the radio, and we drove to the Efficiency that I moved into that day with her.
Do you know what was in the paper bag that she was drinking from?
Cisco,
Okay.
her favorite.
Did anyone else live in the apartment with you?
No, at that moment it was just me, her, and Nicholas.
Okay, did anyone else come to live with you in the apartment?
I begged my grandmother to come because Brenda was definitely out of control. I never really liked her. She was never my favorite. But my grandmother came like 2 weeks later.
Did you ever go to the doctor with your mother?
I went to the doctor with her numerous times. I went to probation with her. Every time we would go, she would have me pee in a cup. And she'd take the pee I would give her and put it in a pill bottle and put aluminum foil and a rubber band around the top. And then I guess put it inside of her. So when she'd go in to see the people, she could urinate and have a clean urine.
Do you know if your mother had a drug problem?
Brenda definitely had a drug problem.
What kind of drugs did she use?
Crack cocaine.
Do you think she had a problem with alcohol?
Major problem with alcohol.
How often did she drink?
All the time.
And is this when you were living with her in that apartment in 1998?
Yeah.
Did your
And
mom?
after and before and even all the times I can remember, the majority of the time when I would be with her. Unless we were going to Alcoholics Anonymous. But later on that night, she probably ended up having a drink or two. She would have to do it for probation or something.
Did your mother smoke cigarettes?
Like a chimney.
And she did this while she was pregnant?
Yeah.
Did you ever go with her to buy alcohol and cigarettes?
Yeah. There was, from where we lived, Las Olas, right here, right in this area. Right down the street there was a corner store. And I used to take trips with her. And we would go to the corner store and she would buy food. She would buy soda for me. She would buy her liquor. She would buy paraphernalia. And she would buy her cigarettes.
What kind of paraphernalia did she buy?
There would be these little roses all over the house sometimes, and I would never like could comprehend until I finally got it, understood. She would buy, they come out of, I'm so nervous.
Okay.
She would buy these pipes. I guess they were pipes, but they would like disguise them with little roses inside of them. And she would buy pipes and chore boy.
What is chore boy?
Chore boy is Brillo.
What do you use it for?
You use it to smoke crack.
Okay. Miss Woodard, did you see your mother drinking Cisco while she was pregnant?
Yeah.
Did you see her smoking crack while she was pregnant?
Yes.
Did you see her smoking cigarettes while she was pregnant?
Yes.
And when you moved in with her, you stayed with her up until the time Nicholas was born. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. Did you notice her belly getting bigger and bigger?
Oh, she always wore those same Docker shorts with the baggy t-shirts. That's how I know Brenda.
Did she ever get arrested while you were living with her that summer?
Yeah, she did.
Do you remember what happened?
What did she get arrested for?
When she got arrested?
Yeah, I remember that day.
Okay. When was that?
That day, Brenda came in looking for money. Me and my grandma were at the efficiency. And she demanded my grandmother to give her money, and my grandmother didn't have money to give her. So she made my grandmother strip naked, and my grandmother stripped naked. But my grandmother kept her shoes on. That's where the money was hidden. That was the money for the rent. And since she went in the kitchen, she tore apart the cabinets. She tore apart the refrigerator. She opened baking soda and emptied it out all over the counter. And then my mother turned to my grandmother and said, "You don't want to give me the money? Come on, let's go." She grabbed me, and I started like trying to fight back for the first time. And she pulled me to the door, and I don't remember how, but somehow the door ended up closing on my hand. And she took me out. She still took me out. I was screaming. She took me out of the house. My grandma was older at that time already anyway. She couldn't with Brenda. I couldn't neither. I was a child. And she took me to the car, to her Cougar, her beloved car. And she sat me in it. And when she went to get in, I thought there was weed in the car, but I was still like, I didn't know, but it wasn't weed, it was cigarette opened up inside of the car in the console or whatever. I thought it was weed, but it wasn't. When she went around to get in, I looked at her and I said, "I hate you." And I opened the door and I started running. And I ran upstairs to the neighbor's house where there was this big, beautiful dog I always used to go play with. And he wouldn't let Brenda in. He wouldn't let her in over the gate, and the dog wouldn't let her over the gate. So we called the police. The police came, made her leave. And it was calm then when she left. When she came back, she came back.
Now, do you remember if that was an incident that happened before Nicholas was born or after Nicholas was born?
This happened, I can't remember.
It's okay.